I'm Rob Shields, and this is Peace Talks, the podcast that covers everything to do with competitive jigsaw puzzling. Dutch puzzlers are known for speed when it comes to busy puzzles. In this episode, we talk to two of the speediest puzzlers from the Netherlands, Inge Sinot and Maartje, Meer, about what makes a whole nation excel at a skill. Inge Sinot and Maartje, Meer, thanks for joining Peace Talks.
Of course.
Thanks for having us.
Also joining us today is the ever ebullient Evie Karen. Evie, welcome back.
Hi, I'm excited to talk to these Dutch puzzlers.
Well, with that, let's just jump right in. Inge, why don't you tell us about your earliest puzzle memory?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I hadn't thought about this before. I think we just used to do puzzles at home. My grandmother had a lot of puzzles, so we borrowed them from her, and we just did them at home. Also, like the really tough ones. My grandma had one with only coins and some bills, but mainly coins, and then no edge pieces and 5 extra pieces. So that one was just, but I thought it was fun. But
Wait.
I guess that's not like my earliest memory, because I will not have been like 5 when I did that. So
Do you have an earliest memory? Like, do you remember your first encounter with puzzles? You probably were puzzling from a very early age, I'm guessing.
yeah, but I'm also the youngest of 3 girls, so like a lot of things just came with my sisters, right? And then you join in, so I don't really have like one pinpoint early puzzle memory, but I just know we did them at home sporadically.
So we know about your sister Ellen because she is also an accomplished speed puzzler. Did you and Ellen and your other sister ever race puzzles when you were kids, or was there like a friendly competition to find the next piece or be the one that put the most pieces in?
No, I think it was mainly wanting to put in the last piece, of course. I think a lot of people have that. I mean, I remember at one point I was like, I want to do the last piece. So during the puzzle, I put a puzzle piece in my pocket. So I totally forgot about it. So then we were missing a piece. But no, I just
Classic
think
little sister.
I know. But you have to, because you're the youngest. So otherwise you'll never get the chance. So it's the way it goes. And I think we were just really into it. At one point, we had a very cool dolphin puzzle with also puzzle pieces shaped like dolphins that went in, and it was very cool. And then we had to go to bed, but the puzzle wasn't finished. So Ellen and I actually were like, okay, we're gonna wake up at 2:00 to finish the puzzle, as if my parents wouldn't notice that the puzzle was finished when they woke up in the morning. So we did actually do that, but I was young and got tired, so I went back to bed at some point, and my sister finished the puzzle. So we were crazy like that already. We didn't do any speed racing or something, but just enjoying puzzles in general.
And your other sister, was she equally engaged in the puzzling as you and Ellen?
So that's my sister Mandy, who has also been joining in some puzzle competitions.
Oh, cool.
And she did sort of like it, but she was not as patient as we were. So especially when she was younger, she did the edges and then she left. So it took some more time to grow for her. I think as a kid, she wasn't into it as much as we were.
Maartje, what about you? What's your earliest puzzle memory?
So it's not something I think I personally necessarily remember, but my parents had always used to say that like during kindergarten, all the puzzles were too small for me. So I had them done too early and I wanted to make bigger puzzles, but I don't vividly remember this. I think the main puzzle memory from my childhood is that I used to, before bed, like instead of maybe reading a book or something like that, I used to have this, like put an plank and put it on my bed and make a 500-piece puzzle before going to bed. And then, like in the beginning, it took like multiple days, and I would keep it. And then,
okay. I was like,
course,
I thought you were just sitting down with a new puzzle and you weren't going to sleep until you were done. I was like, what a great way of keeping up after bedtime.
No, in the beginning, it was like you took multiple days, like weeks. But I think we had like 15 puzzles or 12 of these puzzles, and then of course, the more you do them, the older you get, but also the more times you've made them. So at some point, I made one then before going to sleep, for example.
Wow, do
so
you
I think
remember that? Like, was that an accomplishment or just a thing that, it's
I
just
think
a thing that happened?
yeah, there was no, I don't think it necessarily felt like an accomplishment. I don't really know. I just found it very fun, and of course you get kind of the same, I guess, the same feeling. I mean, you didn't wake up at 2 a.m. as Inge did, but I mean, you want to finish it, so you get that rush of wanting to finish before you go to sleep. Yeah, but I think probably my parents also kept me from like told me at some point to maybe stop it and go to sleep anyway.
Other folks in your family also interested in puzzling, or was this a specific to you thing?
No, yeah. So I did also just like during the weekends or during the weeks, we also did puzzles with my parents. So I think we did puzzles quite regularly, bit off and on. But I felt in the beginning I did it mostly with my mother actually, and then at some point I kind of started doing it more with my dad. And then we did used to say to me like it was always just relaxing and casual puzzling. But at some point, I think when I was like in my when I was getting 16 or 17, they said it was getting less and less relaxing as it kind of it wasn't like a little bit of an unofficial race, I guess, to finish it relatively fast. So there was not necessarily speed puzzling, but I guess the mentality was already maybe a bit there. And then
Was
and
this
now
your fault? Were you the one that was driving the competition, or was this?
Yes. Yeah, no, that was definitely me, I think. But I very successfully did this because now my dad is also already, I think, 1.5 years into speed puzzling. So successfully indoctrinated, I guess.
Yeah, I think we're gonna ask a little bit more about dads in general because they seem to be a common theme here. But
Yeah.
we'll get to that. Inge, how did you first hear about speed puzzling?
So actually in the Netherlands, we have the NK legpuzzelen, which is actually already pretty old. I keep forgetting when it was first created, but it was like in a bar, very local. They did like a small puzzle competition. And then I think in 2017, it became an official national championship, which is actually quite early already, I think, to have a national speed puzzling championship. And then we found out about it in 2019, I think. We saw this existed and we were like, oh, this is fun. But we are the kind of people who are this way about a lot of things and we're kind of competitive. So we saw this existed. We thought we like puzzles. So let's join in. But it started pretty casually for us. Like we did join, but we puzzled together with the team a couple of times a year, right? It wasn't as competitive as it became when we decided to go to Worlds and everything after. We in this case it's my family. So my sister Ella. Well, my dad Jan actually was part of the original team, but we were with 5, so it kind of depended on what date we picked for the preliminary round. Because in the Netherlands they are in different weekends throughout the year. So it was just the one that fit the best, and then my dad couldn't join. So our original team actually formed with me, my sister, her husband, and then a mutual friend. So my dad actually didn't make the original team, which we didn't really like. Because then you have a team, right? So then you compete with that team every year. So it was kind of hard for him to become a part of the team. But yeah, so that's my first time was in 2019 that we joined. So for me, that's my start of speed puzzling.
So it's actually fairly far back in terms of where people get started with competitive speed puzzling.
Yeah, but it's a very, very different type of competition to other speed puzzling competitions.
Which I'm glad you said that because I don't understand this competition at all. And so I was hoping that the two of you might help me understand what is going on here, because it seems like there are competitions that happen throughout the course of the year. There's qualifiers, and then there's an actual competition, but then there's also a Dutch national competition, which seems like a separate thing. So I don't know how all of these things relate. Can you help me better understand what's going on with these competitions?
Yeah, so you have NK legpuzzelen, which is the original Jan van Haasteren Championship in the Netherlands. It has, I think, over 3,000 participants every year because it's a huge competition. So usually what they have is a lot of preliminaries throughout the country in different weekends. So you have, I think ours, like my part of the Netherlands is usually around October or December, like somewhere there. But then if you live more up north, then you'll be in January, February, it's your turn. So you can subscribe to one of the preliminaries. And then you have like, I think 60 teams or something at each preliminary, more or less. And then top 3, 4, or 5 qualify depending on the size of the preliminary for the finals. And the finals are usually in April. So then you have 1 day of finals. Originally, it was only a teams competition. And that's still the main portion of the event. They did add individuals and pairs 2
2 years
years
ago, I
ago.
think.
They didn't really like the individual category because it didn't really fit the gezelligheid. It's a nice Dutch word that doesn't really have a translation, but like the
Yeah.
atmosphere of the competition, because individual people were too serious. And a lot of them didn't show up, which they also didn't really like because it was very popular anyway. And then there were empty tables. So they actually removed that competition after 2 years again, but they kept the pairs. And that one now also has preliminaries throughout the year. And then both finals are on the same day in April.
So how did your first Uncollect puzzler go in 2019?
That's actually a hilarious story. So we were on our way to our preliminary round. And then we were, almost there, but not quite there yet. And the car got a flat tire. So we were like, oh my God, we're never going to make it. The weather was insane, rain and storm, and it was very bad. So we were like, oh, are we going to make it? We had to wait for the tow truck. We were in a very bad position. So the tow truck came very fast. But then they towed us in the wrong direction, so away from our puzzle competition. So you're like, we're not going to make it. And then we were at the, I don't know, tow truck station place. And the guy felt very sorry for us. So he was like, I'll loan you a car. I'm not actually allowed to do it, but you'll bring it back in 2 hours, right? So we're like, yeah, we'll do that. So we got the car. So we were on our way and we were like, okay, we called the organization and we were like, okay, we're going to be late, but we're coming. So he's like, yeah, that's okay. You can just join for fun, right? At least you'll get your puzzle, right? And that's it. So in the end, we arrived around 20 minutes late. And we still managed to qualify in second place. So we still managed to make it to the finals, even though only 3 teams qualified for the finals. So
wow.
we were immediately like infamous. So the next year, so like, oh, you were the team with the flat tire. So
did you guys know you were that competitive, like that you were going to do that well, or was
No.
that surprising?
I mean, we knew we were pretty decent, but I think we were lucky because we hardly practiced together as a team yet. And it was like the one puzzle we did the week before. So it was a puzzle we had already done with the team. So we were lucky and it was a pretty tough one. So that helps. And back in the day, there weren't that many really fast teams yet.
Mhm.
That has definitely changed by now. But back then, it was pretty okay. But the winning team was actually slower than us because they started 20 minutes earlier.
Wow.
So they were also like, whoa, everyone was like, what happened? And for us, it was like a roller coaster of emotions. And every single puzzle competition, especially the ones for NK Legpuzzelen, we are always like, oh, are we within walking distance? What if we get a flat tire? It has never ended. We are always calculating flat tire time into our trip. It means sometimes if I have an online competition and I should be on time very easily, I still bring the puzzle with me because you never know if you get a flat tire. So it was a very traumatic first time, but also fun.
Maartje, what about you? How did you get into speed puzzling? How did you even hear about it?
So I think I heard about it like the way like half of the speed puzzlers probably do. So I heard it from the Karen Puzzles way.
Classic.
And before that, I just really like puzzles. And then at some point, I stumbled upon her channel, and then she did, I think, the all the videos about the world from 2024. And then I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I think I bought like 2 puzzles. I think the Pisa Tower one and the Sushi Bowl circle puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
I bought them online and I tried them, and I was like, I think I was on like top 10 within those, like in the preliminary, and like 15 or something. I don't remember exactly, but I was like pretty surprised by how well I was actually doing. I was like, oh, this could actually be interesting. And then kind of that set off this whole avalanche of ideas of what I could do with this. So I had already heard about that the NK Legpuzzelen existed, actually, because it's sometimes also on the news in the Netherlands. That's like, oh, this is like the silly thing that's happening. So I did, and then I looked it up, but that was already like booked up, because if you want to sign up for the NK Legpuzzelen, it's actually quite hard. Like within a day, it's all booked up.
Wow.
It's really really quite popular. I started getting into it, and I started kind of practicing a little bit. I think I started this in beginning of 2024, and then in October or something, I actually joined my first jigsaw jam. So that was really, really fun. So that was my first actual competition, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a second. But I'm sort of surprised that, given that there's a famous puzzling competition, given that you'd already turned the family puzzling into competitions, that your immediate, like, I'm not surprised that when you saw Karen Puzzle's video, you were like, yes, that is a thing I am interested in. I'm sort of surprised it took that long.
Yeah, I think I do remember that I saw on the news in like the NK Legpuzzelen. I was like, oh, this is fun. But it was only a teams event, so I needed 4 people, and there were not I didn't think there were 3 people interested in joining this, I guess, with me. So I guess it took, in that sense, took so long to join. And also now my NK Legpuzzelen team is just me and my friends from my studies that I just convinced to join me kind of, and pulled me along with this. So yeah, in the beginning I just didn't think it was possible to find a team.
And you didn't have one built in like Inge did.
No. Well, I mean, now later, I guess I also pulled my family into it, but at the beginning, not really, no.
But it is kind of hard to find people who are equally crazy and want to join in a puzzling competition, because you have to like puzzling, you have to like competitions, and it's very nerdy.
Equally
it's
crazy.
mostly very nerdy, I think. That was the main problem usually. They would say, oh, that's fun, and then laugh at you, and then not actually. That's kind of how it feels.
It's funny because I feel like in the, what I'm going to call the modern era, that as soon as you tell people that you're doing this, people want to know more about it. At least the people that I talk to.
You're very interesting.
Yeah.
It's also, there are multiple friends who say that I'm like their gimmick or their party trick. That they're like, you know who I know? This person who's very good at puzzling. Yeah. So it's definitely. Now suddenly it's super interesting. Yeah.
Inge, let's start with your first actual competition. Was that EJJ3? Like, was your first competitions with EJJ?
Oh, I don't really remember, actually.
Like, obviously you were doing puzzling in 2019 as a team.
Yeah, I think at the beginning when I did the teams competitions, right, I was so nervous. I had like, hands shaking, and it was very intense. And we had decided to go to Worlds in 2024, and but the nerves, it's like, I need to practice. I need to do more competitions. And actually, Erik Gaidanis, which is my sister's husband.
Eric, the not so speedy puzzler?
Yes, the not so speedy speed puzzler. Yes. He got a message from Michelle, actually. I think it was something like that. And she was like, oh, I want to organize speed puzzling competitions. And he had a lot of followers on Instagram because his nephew bought them for him. So Michelle thought Erik is like an influencer. It wasn't even that much, but a couple of hundred, right? But she's like, would you like to try and join in my speed puzzling competition? So actually we sort of got to know about it because Michelle had messaged Erik, so he joined into the first one, and then we were like, okay, this is fun. Let's order some competition puzzles. So that's why I joined like right after the first ones, because we didn't know it existed yet and whether it was fun. So, but if you're saying it's number 3, I believe you. I mean, I remember like EJJ number 1. That was like the Pieces and Peace with the houses, I think, and the lake, something like that. I don't remember the puzzle name, but I know Erik had it, of course, so I borrowed it, and then I did it at home, and I kind of had the same feeling that Maartje did, because I was faster than Hannah, and Hannah won the competition. So I was like, whoa, I'm actually also fast if I compare myself to international puzzlers, right? So that was also really like, whoa, what's happening? So that I remember more, actually, the one I did at home without participating, than the ones I did. I think maybe Misfit Toys was one of the early ones. No, I really don't remember.
Been so many now.
I was going to say, you've done quite a few, because you start off by doing an EJJ. I'll just refresh your memory. You start off by doing an EJJ in like April of 2024, and then you immediately do the next one, and then you're doing them consistently from there on out. So when you say that you've done a lot and you don't remember, that is in fact true. You just sort of jump in and off you go. Your second EJJ, which, like I said, was just a couple of days later, your first solo competition that I could find, you came in third, establishing what would be a pattern for a little while of third places. Of the next 6 competitions, 5 were third places. How did you feel about sort of that as being where you are landing in all of these competitions?
Yeah, so my boyfriend nicknamed me third place queen, which I fully embraced. No, actually, I think in general, I've always been pretty consistent in speed puzzling. So what you usually see is I have different people ahead of me depending on the type of puzzle. So if someone is really good at busy puzzles, they will end above me. If someone's really good at the gradient, they will end above me. But then I'm always like right behind them. And then some people who are, some other people might win one time and then be, 10th the next or whatever. So I always mainly felt I was very consistent and I could beat most people, but also those people could also easily beat me. So I had like bucket lists of speed puzzlers I wanted to beat in the competition.
And who was on the list?
Well, at this point, no one.
You did
who was on the list? Who was on the list early on?
I think the last one I had on was Veronica.
Hooped us, yeah.
Because she isn't at competitions that often, and last year at Worlds she was amazing, so there was no chance. But actually, at the World Series in Munich, I managed to beat her in one of the rounds. 2 of the rounds, I don't know, but I was very, very happy about that. So I didn't expect to be able to cross her off the list, but I've had like Kristen, Tuff, yeah, thank you. I had a lot of those people on my list, right? And I had Kelly Walters, because in my first year at World, she just kept being just a little bit faster. But I think she was still on my list until World Series, because I just hadn't competed against Kelly again. So, but there might still be people I haven't beaten, but I just don't know.
Was this a list that existed in your brain, or was it written down?
It was a brain list, but it's also, my sister Ellen was also really like, every time she's like, oh, you haven't beat that person yet, right? And I was like, no. Like the first time beating Kristen, there was really
big
really
thing.
something, right? So that was also at your Jigsaw Jam, but I was like, and then the joke started that I was very good at tiger puzzles, because that was a tiger puzzle, and at Worlds I did exceptionally well with also the tiger puzzle. So that became also a thing, that apparently I'm good at tigers. Which
it's a pretty specific thing.
I don't know if it's true. Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about EJJ 15, understanding that you don't have them all committed to memory. But this one was, it seemed particularly interesting because you did get to beat some folks, but it was a Jan van Hasteren puzzle. And I feel like the story leading up to this is amusing. Do you remember enough about this one to tell us a little about?
Yes, definitely. It's
Okay.
Find the Mouse. Yeah, it was. I mean, Jan van Haasteren 500-piece box sizes are very unique. So we got the puzzle. We were like, this is a very specific box shape. And there actually weren't that many 500-piece puzzles from Jan van Haasteren in that box shape. So I think there were only about 4 or something that already existed, or at least that we could find. So we were like, huh, we have them, we can practice them. And we actually already thought it would be Find the Mouse, so we had practiced that one even a little bit more. But both me and Elle have been doing that one quite a couple of times because. But what was actually very confusing during the competition was that the cut was shifted a bit, the image. So the one border, like one side of the border, I was like, I haven't seen any of these pieces before. And it was so confusing because it was a completely different. We had a very old one. Ours had a different box size. Let's put it that way. But so I just remembered we had the competition. I was like, I don't understand these pieces. But other than that, obviously, it went great. And it was a very tight competition between me and Elle. But it was also, Elle also says she doesn't really count that one because it was because we practiced. Though I think even with our first tries, we would still have been top 3 because it was just Dutch people. And then Fenna Bontje, who is Dutch/Belgium, she also does a lot of Jan van Haasteren. And then it was like, it's a gap. And then there's other people.
Then the rest.
I want to take this as an opportunity to sort of tangent here. So first of all, I want to say that Ellen was 4 seconds behind you. So like you guys were like amazingly close. But I would love to hear from the both of you who Jan van Haasteren is and sort of his role in puzzling in sort of the Dutch lore, because I feel like either he is a symptom of how Dutch think about puzzles, or he is the cause of how Dutch are good at certain classes of puzzles. So I would love to hear, like, tell us, for those who aren't really familiar, who is Jan van Haasteren and how does he factor into puzzling in the Netherlands?
So Jan van Haasteren he turned 90 this year, so he's very old. First to start now. And I think he used to do just a lot of advertisement, cartoons, and posters and stuff like that for just everything. And then at some point they started he started making these puzzles, and somehow it just clicked or something. It was exactly what people wanted, and then it just became huge, basically. So the puzzles kept on coming, and now because he's turning so old, of course, he has a team of I think 5 illustrators that are also now making puzzles. So it's really also kind of it's like a real business, not just one person making a lot of puzzles. Is it the cause or the symptom? That's, I guess, a bit of the question. I think it's a bit of the cause. Yeah, you see them everywhere here. Also, like if you have like a flea markets or stuff, I don't know, everyone's selling these puzzles. They're so popular. Also, you cannot really buy if you go to a toy shop, you can buy these puzzles and the Waschei puzzles, so the inverted picture puzzles. But and then they have 4 or 5 Ravensburgers, and then walls and walls of Jan van Haasteren puzzles. So I think they're catering it a bit too much, maybe, it's kind of the main puzzle you see here. But
it's like the main thing that's available in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
It's Jan van Haasteren is everywhere, and if you want something else, you have to work for it. So I think everyone in the Netherlands grows up with Jan van Haasteren puzzles, even if you don't necessarily like them. I mean, when I started with Ravensburg puzzles, I was like, whoa, these are much more fun. But it's just the only thing you're getting exposed to, basically, the Jan van Haasteren. So it's just everyone knows them. Always if someone's like, oh yeah, I also do some puzzles, well, casually, of course, but I do puzzles. Oh, what do you do? Oh, Jan van Haasteren. So it's just
exactly.
Yeah, and in case it didn't come across, one of the key things about a Jan van Haasteren puzzle is that they are just insanely detailed. There's a lot of busy things going on. There's a lot of they're not landscapes, they're not photographs of anything, like they're illustrations where every piece might have a lot of complexity, part of a bigger active scene with lots of inside jokes. And they're sort of fun illustrations, but they're very complicated. So fair to say that both of you grew up having exposure to those kinds of puzzles?
Yes, yeah. And so these puzzles I used to make as a child, these were the Jan van Haasel puzzles. And I think at some point we had this, like, we would only make those basically. All we had at home were those Jan van Haasel puzzles. And I think at some point we were kind of sick of it. So then we had this whole period in my childhood that we made these 1000 just only landscape puzzles, like these old Ravensburger puzzles or old Jumbo puzzles of just landscapes or like houses from Germany or something, stuff like that. So there was definitely kind of a split in that sense, but yeah, you can't get around those puzzles. Yeah.
Are there collectors of Jan van Haasteren puzzles? And
Yes.
like, are they into the
Yes.
vintage ones? Like, what's that like in the Netherlands?
So yeah, I think it's really online. They're also, I don't really know why, but relatively speaking, if they're secondhand, they're worth more just because people want them, I guess. But there are definitely some old ones that are worth more. So I also found, like, at this year's King's Day, it's like we have a big flea market here, and I found this old 500-piece Jan van Haasel puzzle. And I was like, oh, this. But then, of course, there was a piece missing. But of these puzzles, if you find them complete, you cannot find them anymore. So then there are definitely people who want to have those and pay more money than normal puzzles.
Yeah, I actually had someone come up to me recently and he had like a list of, I'm missing these 10 Jan van Haasteren puzzles. Do you have any?
Yeah.
But also from the NK Legpuzzelen, there's always a lot of Jan van Haasteren goodies, and it's like a whole fan day they have. It's like a whole event. It's not a like serious quiet puzzle competition. There's music, there's activities. You can throw darts at the air balloon puzzle poster. And if you hit the smaller balloons, you get more points and you can get a nice prize. Anyway.
It's a festival.
Yes. And you always
almost
come home with 1 million Jan van Haasteren goodies. So actually, I'm swimming and I can see a multiple around me. I see one for Maartje as well.
Already.
So at some point you're like, okay, I have 3 mouse mats now. I have multiple drinking bottles. So when that guy came up to me, I was like, do you want some Jan van Haasteren goodies? So I put together an entire bag of goodies because I'm like, I don't really need them. So he was very happy. So you have actually collectors who are like, oh, I need this in my life.
Maartje, I think you might have mentioned this brand, but it doesn't sound like I would have said it. We say it wasgij.
Yeah, in Dutch it's different. It's I call it wasgij just because the IJ it's an I in Dutch, so that's why.
And it kind of sounds like, what is this? It's kind of in Dutch. It kind of, you don't realize it's jigsaw spelled backwards because it sounds like a thing in Dutch.
I figured that really late in life that it was actually jigsaw spelled backwards. Yeah.
So Maartje, you at the World Series won the boxless puzzle round, and so I wanted to ask, like, did you do a lot of those wasgij puzzles growing up, and do you think that trained your ability to puzzle without an image?
I don't know, maybe subconsciously, but I didn't make them that often. I did practice some of them for the World Series actually, but I don't really know. And I also don't really get why I was so particular. I think just the image was very good for me, the colors and stuff, but I am not a person that doesn't look at the image. I'm a person that really looks at the image and tries to kind of memorize what it's about. So I was super happy, and I knew the second day was more of my forte in that sense. But I didn't really expect that this was something I would excel in specifically, actually.
I'm going to say this the American way because that's just how I'm used to. But the wasgij, now I can't say it either way. Now the wasgij puzzles are also complex. They're, you're usually looking at something that, like, the actual puzzle you're putting together isn't the thing that you're looking at on the box typically. And according to EB, your notes say that originated in the Netherlands as well. So what is it in the water that makes complex, insane illustrations a sort of default puzzle? Do you think that this was sort of built on the Jan van Hasteren sort of wave, or do you guys feel like that Dutch people are just have an affinity to complex illustrations? What's going on?
I don't. Do you know, Inge? I don't really. I guess it was built. I can imagine it was built on the hype of the Jan van Hasteren a little bit. I don't know which came first. I have to check, but it's the cartoony style. It's really clicks. But I don't necessarily know if that's because we kind of that's what we wanted or if that's what we got.
That's right. It's just what's around.
Yeah, but I think that's it kind of goes together, right? It's popular, and then it is everywhere, and then that's the only thing you're exposed to, so then that's what you do. So I think it's kind of a circle. It goes one thing leads to the other, and that one leads to the first thing again. So but I think because you can see it in Belgium as well, they're also very good at detailed images. They also do a lot of Jan van Hasteren, and I think it's just because that's what you do, you get good at it. If you would do 100 horse puzzles in a row, you will be very good at horses. So if that's the only thing you do for, the first 25 years of your life, then that's what you're good at.
While your brain is forming, suddenly you're...
Exactly. Yeah.
Once you were able to break free of the tyranny of the Jan van Hasteren puzzles, did the world open up for you, or...
I think we're probably having a different opinion on this. No, I don't think Jan van Hasteren puzzles are necessarily like the best. I do mostly enjoy that the Ravensburger puzzles have a lot of, or like basically other brands also, I guess, have a lot of variety in their puzzles. But because I'm so like relatively good at the busy puzzles, and I really like the pick and place method. So just trying to get stuff down. I think I still would enjoy the busy puzzles the most, which then also qualifies the Jan van Hasteren puzzles. But then it doesn't really matter which brand it is, as long as it has that kind of busy feeling to it. But I think Inge has a different opinion.
Yeah, for me
on
it
this.
was like, whoa, there are so many other types of puzzles. This is fun. And I think for me right now, I just really enjoy doing new puzzles, like a new brand, something that I don't know what to expect, something with really funky piece shapes. That's for me, that's the most fun, and that's what I really liked about your Jigsaw Jam, especially in the beginning, because then for me every new box was a mystery because I didn't know any of the brands. By now I know a lot of the brands because I've been buying your Jigsaw Jams for 2 years. So for me, it's just, I was like, I love the variety mainly, so I like doing a lot of different things. I do also still like busy puzzles because I'm just also relatively good at them, because that's just what happens. That's how you learn puzzling, by pick and placing. But for the Jan van Hasteren, like, we are fine just only doing it once or twice before the NK puzzle, and then that's okay. But we had last year, me and my sister were doing the pairs, and we're like, yeah, how often do we want to train? Because we don't really like doing all these Jan van Hasteren puzzles every week. So how many do we want to do? For what placement do we want to go? We had the fastest pair was back then, right? Was Sien and Teun Braat, because there was still individual competition. So Maartje obviously went in individual. So we were like, okay, is it even possible to beat them, right? Are we going to invest a lot of time and do Jan van Hasteren puzzles every week to try and beat them? Or do we just say, second place is fine and let's do fun puzzles? And we kind of ended somewhere in the middle, because then sometimes you're like, oh, we're getting closer. And then you're like, okay, let's do another Jan van Hasteren. But I do like them every now and then.
A refreshing change of pace.
Yeah, and I think the fun thing about Jan van Hasteren, sometimes they have a lot of jokes and stuff, right? But if you're speed puzzling them, you don't notice them at all. So I also sometimes think it's kind of a waste to speed puzzle Jan van Hasteren, if that makes sense. Like, you don't get the full experience.
Yeah.
But I think I will be doing a lot of Jan van Haasteren this year because there's the marathon in Hanout in Belgium, the 24-hour marathon, and that one also has mainly Jan van Haasteren, a bit of Wasgai, and a bit of Falcon. But that
Wow.
will be so it's in Belgium.
That is a busy puzzling
Yes.
obstacle course.
Yeah, I think you got like the
Paradise, no.
2,000, 3,000 piece Jan van Haasteren puzzles as well, right? Just
God.
people building sand castles, 2,000 pieces. A skateball, just white and tiny.
All right,
Yeah.
I want to jump back. Inge, I would love to hear, you've been doing some competitive puzzling for actually quite a while. I want to hear how your experience was with the first Worlds competition. So was it something that you were particularly looking forward to? It sounds like you had planned for it for a while. How were you thinking about your first Worlds in, was it 2024?
Yeah, I think the first one was actually very different in preparation from the second one. I think mainly, actually, I don't know. I heard about it from Ellen, and I assume Ellen heard about it from the Karen Puzzles video. I'm not sure. No, actually, I think the Puzzle Poeze went to Worlds. I think that's actually how we went to it. Was the Dutch champion team from the NK Legpuzzelen. They won a couple of years, and they went to Worlds in 2023. I think that was actually, and they kind of promoted it, right? It was like they are very.
They're the team with the cat ears, right?
Yeah, so they were like, everyone knows the Puzzle Poeze within the Dutch puzzle community. It's always, within a particular group of people. And then, so we were like, should we go? So my sister bought like a couple of the puzzles from the Worlds, right? And, we put them on our wish list for Sinterklaas, which is like Dutch Christmas. Sort of. It's a completely different holiday, but kind of you get a lot of
presents.
Yeah. Exactly. So and we were like, okay, we tried a little bit, and then mainly Ella back then started playing a lot of puzzles, and I just borrowed all Ella's puzzles and I did those. And my puzzle collection mainly grew from joining in competitions, because you get a lot of puzzles if you competing puzzle competitions. And I think it was mainly we just puzzled and we practiced a bit, and it was for fun. I don't know if it makes sense. I think for last year we really stepped it up a notch even, and it was already pretty bad in 2024. But
Bad how?
all your time went to puzzling, like at least last year, because we kind of, for the first year's Worlds, we joined for fun, and we were like, okay, the cutoff for pairs mainly was pretty harsh to make it to pairs finals. So that's why we decided that I would pair up with my dad and Ella would pair up with her husband, because then both pairs were about equal in their level, and we thought that we will both be able to qualify for the finals. And if we would have paired like me and Ella together and her husband and Jan, then it would have been, they probably wouldn't have made the finals. So we were like, let's just, make sure everyone gets to participate in as many rounds as possible. Yeah, exactly. So, but already then it was kind of itching. Like, it's like, how will we do together? Because actually, I think both pairs did pretty well already, even in this configuration. So we're like, this is interesting. And we also had people come up to us, like they thought me and Ella would participate, so they were like scared of us, and we're like, no, we're, I'm participating with Jan, and then they're like, oh, okay, and they were like, okay, well, we don't have to be scared if Inge and Ella are not competing together. So we were like, okay, are we gonna, for 2025, are we gonna try and pair up together? But then we really, if we're ditching our previous pairs partners, we really have to, make it happen.
Worth that.
Yeah, exactly. And we also ditched the team, right? So we asked Sina and Teun, who I mentioned before, because they were the fastest Dutch pair. We're like, do you want to go to Worlds with us? We're looking for teammates. So we were like, okay, then we're going to make it happen. But then Ella and I think we started in around January or something, and we just puzzled together every single week until September. Because our goal was, you have a lot of pairs who are technically faster than we are, but they don't get to puzzle together that often because they live far away. And our main strategy was we're just going to become such a well-oiled machine that we managed to beat those pairs just because we really know each other well and know how to puzzle as a pair. And that's actually why I really like pairs puzzling and teams puzzling, because it's a completely different skill. Because you have to know your partner and notice when they're in trouble before they know themselves. And I think it's really fun. Sorry, I got distracted a bit, but
no, that's all great.
Anyway,
please continue to be distracted.
How much of a leg up was being sisters in that kind of like pairs partnership? And how do you think it like advanced faster your ability to like recognize and communicate with each other because you're sisters? You could be like blunt.
It helps that you don't have to be polite, because it's a lot of times when you're puzzling with someone new, you bump into someone, whoops, sorry, or, oh, can I please have the water pieces from you, maybe? And, you get very careful. And I think we also really noticed that when we started puzzling with Sien and Teun, that we didn't know them at all. And it's very hard to become a team. We actually had to work really hard to become a team. It wasn't instant magic, not at all. We actually had the first time, one of them wasn't there, and their mom puzzled with us. And we were great. And then the second time, we were with the team that we were supposed to go to Worlds with. And all our time sucked. And we were like, how does, getting a faster puzzler on the team make us slower? So it was actually really interesting, but it took some time. And you get into each other's space, right? You accidentally bump into someone's breast. It happens because you're just in each other's way. Yeah, but it happens. And it's easier to do that with someone you know, because whatever, if I happen to scratch her and her hand's bleeding, it's all for the puzzle. It doesn't matter. But you cannot do that in the beginning with new people. So I do think that helps a lot, and you know how you communicate. So in general, you understand the other faster, and sometimes you don't need the correct word for something. You can just be like, yeah, that's the explorer guy, and then
you guys know all your shorthand.
Yeah, just because you have a similar reference to things. So I do think it helps, but I also think if you just invest some time and also, stop being polite. But as a Dutch person, that's easy. Yeah, but we're very direct anyway, right? So
it's true.
We're like, you're only allowed to say sorry if you make someone bleed. No, sometimes I also say sorry. It happens. Just, yeah.
I want to skip forward a little bit to Maartje, your sort of entry into the competitive sphere. So the first competition that I'm aware of that you participated in was also an EJJ, and it was literally the first competition they had after the Worlds in 2024. So tell me a little bit about how you ended up in that competition.
So I don't actually remember where I heard about the EJJs. I think at some point, I don't know, like that summer. So at the beginning of 2024, I heard about speed puzzling, and I tried it a little bit, but then I was too late for the NK puzzle of 2024, and I wasn't immediately going to Worlds that same year. It was also pretty late, so I was kind of trying to get myself into all the possibilities for kind of the coming season in that sense. So I signed up for the NK and stuff like that, and then I think I heard about the EJJs. So I was like, okay, this is what I need to do. So I think I purchased, I think two, I think, because they're not so cheap. So I didn't immediately want to bring myself down in that sense. So yeah, and then in October 2024, it was the first EJJ with the mud puppies puzzle. Yeah, I mean, that went great, of course. So that was very, very fun to win that one. It was amazing.
So I was gonna say. So tell me about your experiences, because one of the things that I really enjoyed, and I'd love your perspective on this, is that as far as the hosts Michelle and Jamikans were concerned, like, you were not on their radar. So it wasn't until very late in that competition they even noted to pay attention, and then they were like, "Wait, who is this? Who is this person? It looks like she's doing really well." So yeah. I'd love to hear your perspective on your sort of first engagement with a competitive world there.
No, it was really, really fun. So I always listen to the commentary, also still when I have the EJJ. So I just kind of know how people are doing, and I don't know, I didn't so I like a bit similar. I tried some puzzles I knew was kind of good, but I mean not in a way that you would immediately win a competition. And then I just started puzzling, and the puzzle was very fun. And then every time you hear kind of a little bit of commentary coming in, how other people are doing, and it's almost like, oh. Like every time they would say something, I'm like, oh, but I already made this as well. So I kind of had a feeling, like, okay, I am keeping up. I'm not like that they're saying, oh, this full piece is finished and I didn't finish it yet. So that was really, really nice.
You had done a lot of not competing, but timing, practicing beforehand. So did you have a sense of where you might fall in this competition?
Not really. So, I mean, I did do quite a few puzzles, but I think at that point, I didn't really puzzle a lot of things that other people were puzzling. So I did quite a lot of the Jan van Haast's, so I had some Dutch references. And then I had a few that were from these before competitions. But other than that, I didn't have that many kind of known puzzles yet. And I think that was right around the time when I joined my speed puzzling probably. So I didn't really know what internationally everything would mean in that sense. But yeah, but actually the fun thing is that I had a bit of the same situation with Inge with recognizing the box.
Really? You recognized the Mud Puppy box?
Yeah, so that was a bit of a coincidence. So I saw the box, and it's like very specific that the top doesn't fully cover the bottom. So that's very specific. And I actually, like the weekend before the EJJ, I went to my parents' house to practice different puzzles. So they had kind of just a lot of random puzzles at home with different brands and stuff. So I thought, okay, I'll go there, and then I can just do a whole weekend of kind of preparation, try some different things out, and then I can do this EJJ. And actually, they had one of these, a Gallison puzzle. I mean, it's the same brand. But it was absolutely horrific because it was like this black puzzle with artichokes and peaches, and I think it took me 1.5 hours, and I was like, oh, okay, if this is what it's gonna be, we'll see. But then of course the image was very, very cute, so I was very happy with that. But I was a bit deterred at the start because of this brand, but luckily it all went well for me.
So when you finished, were you surprised to be first?
Yeah, I think so. I was very, very excited, I think, what I remember. Yeah, I didn't really suspect it, but of course, at some point, because no one is finishing, it's getting more and more likely. So that's, and then your hands start to shake more and more as well. But yeah, this was really, really great.
I enjoyed that in that competition, 3 out of the top 4 finishers were Dutch.
Oh, that could be actually. That maybe Inge was in the.
Yeah, Inge was fourth.
I did the competition. I don't remember my position.
Yeah, and then Danik.
Oh, yeah, Danik. Yeah.
Second.
Yeah, she used to do in the past. She doesn't really do them anymore, I think. But she, Danik Borghouts, right? She did in the
also
beginning
very
quite
good
a lot
at busy
of EJJs.
puzzles.
Yes, very good with the busy puzzles.
Maybe if I can add my perspective on Maartje's first Eurosix Jam, because it was actually, that's why I know she was already on my speed puzzling, because Ella was very following people and being analytic and checking, and she was like, who is this Maartje M? So she had actually already asked people, does anyone know who is Maartje M? Because she's really fast. So then there was the competition, and they were like surprised, and Ella was like, I already knew this. I'm not surprised that she won.
So I think there was even a comment. Maybe she put in a comment or something that at some point someone said like, "Oh, I saw her somewhere on my speed puzzling."
Yeah, because
I remember
we were already totally aware of Maartje's existence.
Yeah.
So, watching you do that puzzle and subsequent puzzles, I've learned that you are not an edge first person.
No.
What is your usual approach to puzzling?
So I always just like to sort out the color. So something that's very clear or like a section. I like a sky. I'm not necessarily very good in the sky, but I like the sortability of a sky, and would always prefer that over doing the edge. I did recently start pulling the edge more often because I felt like it's something I should actually improve upon a little bit. That I also kind of have to recognize when it could actually be beneficial to do the edge. Now I kind of I think for this past 1.5, 2 years, I just kind of avoided it, even though it might have been like a good strategic route. But I think in general, I have kind of a problem of wanting to go faster than my hands are flipping, in a sense. So I start, usually beforehand I think, okay, I'll do this section and I'll get that out, and then halfway through the flipping, like, oh, but this is interesting, and I'll also sort this out, and this, and then I sort of secretly put already some small 4-piece sections together. So that's, and I think sometimes, like, okay, but I mean, if I puzzle now, it doesn't really matter. So, but I'm always I'm never really sure if that's faster or slower. But I think I just let my hands do what they think is best, or what I think is I can see. But yeah, and what I really liked in the past is that, I mean, I can make these sections, they're very clear, and I can sort them out, and I can make them. And then always when I'm stuck later, I can still do the edge. It's kind of, I had this kind of, you can keep it as a kind of a safe option. So if you're getting stuck, you can always still do the edge. And if you've made that already, it's not really possible. So there was also some like a reason for me to do that, to not make it first, in a sense, yeah.
I think Alejandro talks about it the same way. Is like he'll sort out the edges, and then when he slows down, he has that as a thing to go to.
Exactly. Yeah.
It amuses me the sort of push and pull in your approach to puzzling, because you're like I like to sort, but often people who like to sort like to complete their sort. But you're like, I like to sort until I want to do something else, and I'm going to assemble while I sort. So like watching you puzzle, you're sometimes assembling parts before you're ever done flipping.
Exactly.
So it's very much like well, I like to do it this way, but I'm open to whatever the puzzle says to me the moment the puzzle starts talking. Like
a little bit, yeah. It's a bit like that.
You've said you like to have a plan before the puzzle starts, but also the moment the puzzle starts, the plan seems
something else.
Exactly. So you like the comfort of having the plan.
Yeah. Now, usually I do sort of stick to the plan, but then I just decide to do also other plans alongside it. So often I think I see this nice section and I sort it out, and then I decide to do something else anyway. And then I leave it for a little bit later. I sort this out and I think, oh, but I'll sort this as well and this. And then I'm sorting 3 things. I do not stop sorting the first thing, but then it just becomes like additional plans added to it. Yeah.
Maybe this is also just a Dutch person approach if you are into busy puzzles, because I think I'm the same. I'm like really chaotic, right? You do something and like, oh no, this section's look great. And you do a lot of different small things. So I think maybe that's like caused by having to do that for Jan van Haastrecht puzzles. I don't know.
Could be.
It sounded so similar to what I do. I'm always like, if I puzzle in a pair team, I was like, I'm doing Inge sorting. So Ellen knows what I mean, but for other people, I usually explain it. But it's like, I see something that I like, right? And then I sort because I'm like, oh, these 2 pieces look the same. But that doesn't mean I sorted everything with that particular texture. I just see a couple and then I get distracted and I do something else.
Yeah.
So it's always like, I sorted something for you, but it's not complete. So because sometimes people assume that you've completed a sort, and I never complete a sort because I always get distracted. So, but I was thinking maybe it's like, if you're into busy puzzles, that maybe you have a different kind of approach. I don't know.
I mean, it also works the best for busy puzzles. I mean, if it's very structured, I do also tend to just sort one thing out and complete that and do the other thing. Mm-hmm. Just as soon as there are kind of more smaller things being incorporated, I do it a bit more chaotically.
Inge, I have appreciated that your sort of advice to Jan van Haastrecht puzzles is like, find the things that you can identify and bring all those pieces together and do those things, right? So if you can find a person with a shirt, like get all the pieces of that shirt together, because that starts to build the rest of the field for you, and then you can sort of bring those together. And it does really speak to an opportunistic way of puzzling, right? It's like, okay, well, like I'm not going to, like there's not a lot, you guys tell me if you feel differently. There's not a lot of deep sorting you can do in a Jan van Haastrecht puzzle. Like you're really just like, oh, here's 5 things that I think go together. I'm going to put those 5 things together because that may be all the things that I have on that clue. So I think you might be right in that the Dutch penchant for busy puzzling may lead to a certain approach that works well.
Yeah, I think so. At least works well for busy puzzles,
Right.
mostly.
Have you
Yeah.
had to change or have you noticed changes in your strategy as you've gotten faster and gotten exposed to other brands and other types of images?
Yeah, I do. I think in the beginning, you're still learning how to do speed puzzling, and you can improve quite a lot by just doing puzzles. So I think for that first year, by just trying the brand, trying the images, you can do quite a big improvement just by just doing it. But now I think like since last year Worlds, I've been really like, okay, how can I actively improve what I'm doing, you know? So I did start to also I never really sorted the edges as well, and I'm like, okay, I will definitely sort them out, and I can always decide to do them or not do them. But so I did start to do that, and I do try to differ the strategy a bit, but it takes a lot of time, you know. Then when you really start to do more than just regularly puzzle, you really figure out like, okay, I need to really invest quite a bit of time to change something around or learn parts of the piece cut or stuff like that. So I try a bit, but I definitely don't actually put enough effort into that, maybe.
You're right. It is challenging because change is hard. Change takes effort. It takes time, and you may not see it paying off for a little while. And that's the hard part as well, is like, you're like, well, I feel like I'm slower. Should I keep doing this? Because I think that it might get me somewhere, or is this just going to be a burden that I'm going down the wrong track?
And then in those like high pressure situations too, we're gonna like default to our comfort, like chaos style of puzzling. Same question to Inge. How about you? Have you tried to train your chaotic style to be more controlled chaos in any way?
I think I've mainly we've been trying a lot of different strategies also in pairs, like just trying new things. Ellie's really analytical, so she's really into that stuff. I'm just like, I want to do puzzles. I have no fun in watching myself puzzle and analyze the footage and like learning the piece cut. I puzzle because I like puzzles, so I have no fun in. And sure, it would probably help me get faster, but I can, in the same time, I can do puzzles, so I always choose that route. But I think mainly I used to always start with the edges, but then sometimes that's actually not a good idea. So, but I like having the edges because I'm a chaotic puzzler, and if I don't have them, sometimes that sucks because my chaos stuff that's already put together or sorted ends up back in the pile, and if there's an edge, it's contained, so it will stay where I put it.
It's a little corral.
I had it at I sometimes I like, I can do the edge because I can see the color, so I don't need to sort the edges at the beginning because I can grab it with the colors, right? Because it's very obvious, like the inside out puzzle. I don't need to do the edges first because if I sort the yellow, well, no, the yellow is a bad example. The green, I can sort the edges from the green, right?
Yep.
So why would I start with the edge? But then every now and then you make a wrong decision. And that you really learn from how you puzzle. And it's like, this really didn't work for me. So I know I should do the edge if I can. Unless, it's a puzzle where the edge is all solid color, will be much more easy when you do it later on, right? I do wait with it then, but if it's
sort of possible, you'll do it.
And like, I had a puzzle where I didn't even sort it, so I couldn't fix my mistake because I hadn't sorted it when I flipped. So you're gonna really be like, oh, now I'll do the edge, because finding the edges, if you haven't sorted them, is actually pretty hard. Or, well, it takes time and it was a fast puzzle, so then it's not worth it. But I was like, I should have done this, and I ruined it for myself because I cannot fix it anymore. And it should have been much faster than it was. I was like, I really learned something there. So I like edges because it just works for I sort in the puzzle and then I do it there because it saves me time from transferring. If I sort somewhere else and then I have to put it in the puzzle, takes more time. But yeah, that only works if you have a puzzle frame to put it in. So
I want to skip ahead to the 2025, and you guys help me pronounce this correctly. The Dutch competition, I have it as NK leg puzzling, but you guys said
Yes.
it differently because you say K differently than I do.
yeah.
Ka.
K, NK leg
Yes.
puzzling.
Yes, very good.
Amazing.
Yes,
Yes.
nailed it. I will use that as the first edit so people don't know that it's a struggle to get there. So the 2025 version of that, you guys, there's a qualifiers into that in the sounds like late fall, early winter sort of time frame, depending on
Yeah.
where you are. I want to hear a little bit, Maartje, about your experience there because it seems to have gone well for you.
Yes. Yeah. So I think I did my preliminaries were around November, I think. And then we had the first day I had the solos, like the Saturday I had solos, and the Sunday I had the teams competition. And I remember going there, and then at some point I was going to the toilet, and I heard from the corridor, I heard someone say like, "Maartje is here, Maartje is here." I was like, "What's going on?"
That's awesome.
Was it Ellen?
I don't know. No, it was like
We're
it
in
was
different
only in
part of the country.
yeah, we go to different preliminaries. So I also didn't really know a lot of people from this preliminary round, from like that are active in on Instagram or anything like that. So I was like, okay, that's interesting.
Everyone knows
pretty
you.
fun. Yeah. So, but at that point, I wasn't so in the Dutch community. People didn't really necessarily know. But I think from the EJJs, they already there was someone who already knew that I competed, and then and then I got a puzzle that I already did before. But like Inge said, there are not that many 500 Jan van Haste puzzles. Like at especially at that moment, I think there were like 30, and at some point you have them all. So I did make this one, the one I got already before, but still, yeah, I was super happy that I became in first. Because in the beginning I was kind of nervous because I knew the person who got first, like in a solo the year before. I knew they kind of lived close by, or like at that point they also lived where I'm living. So I was very afraid that they were gonna be in this preliminary round and then I wouldn't win or something. I don't know. So I was very nervous for that, but then I saw that they weren't competing, so I was very happy with that. And then the second day we had the teams, and for the teams we didn't really expect anything. So we did some puzzling with each other, but like I said, they were my friends, and they are not. None of them do speed puzzling. I think only one other person actually does puzzling on a regular basis. So, but we did try, and we worked quite well. And then so we didn't expect. We just wanted to qualify. So it was really fun that we also managed to win that preliminary round. So it was a very good start of my real life puzzling competition career.
I love that you're just dragging a few ladies with you on these competitions.
Yes.
You're like, we're gonna do this. Come on. And I love that they're willing
yeah.
to do it. So tell me about the finals then.
The thing is, there is such a large gap in between, because from November to April, there's also quite a lot of time to practice. So also with the team, we try to practice every month. And during that time, I just did a lot of Jan van Haste puzzles. But yeah, you get nervous. The thing was, I knew already beforehand that Inge was doing the pairs. So she was not joining the solo competition.
Can you only do one?
Yeah, you could only do one.
They were at the same time.
Okay.
So you would need either one or the other.
And I think for both types of people, it's like you're happy that you don't have to compete against Maartje. Maartje was happy she didn't have to compete against me. But also, it doesn't really count, right? Like,
yeah, it's also a bit,
it's not the same if not everyone's participating.
I see.
Exactly. Yeah, a little bit like that. But we already, so the fun thing is that like during kind of that period until the finals, kind of we had the same thing happening that like Inge said about me, that there was this new person coming into my speed puzzling, that was then me. But like during the time there was another Dutch person, Anne Stoel she's called, who was getting these super fast times were comparable to my and Inge's times. And I think we talked about it during this puzzle event. We're like, there's this new person again, and they're very fast. And I knew, and I knew she was also competing in this competition. So the thing was, I mean, I did know I had a good chance, but there was definitely no given in that I would win the NK Legpuzzle final. So it was definitely very exciting. And then I really liked the puzzle. It really went very well. And then I just stopped and I finished, and then I saw it was like sub 30, and I don't know, that was just crazy.
Yeah, because this was a first time PR for you, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
27:56 on a first time 500.
Was it not 27 or 28? I don't remember. Maybe 27.
Yeah, I thought it was something around 28, but
the numbers are sort of hard to find. The website and the results for these are sort of challenging, but
yeah, I can imagine.
But yeah, let's call it 28-ish.
Yes,
that is a pretty amazing time for a first puzzle. Yeah. So that puzzle must have really resonated for you.
I guess so, yeah. And the thing was, it kind of looked similar to a previous puzzle. So the puzzle that was
finals
last
from
year,
the year before.
Yeah, the finals from the year before. It was kind of this doctor's appointment office, like a waiting room. And then that year, so last year was a dentist's waiting room.
Yeah.
So that's very similar kind of structures. But I mean, yeah, other than it was not the same puzzle, of course. But maybe that, like in my head, I kind of remembered that or something, and then that really helped.
It was very, very similar.
Yeah. No, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. The official website says 27:56. So.
Crazy, amazing.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
I can be happy about it once again.
I know, right? But
it was insane, Maartje.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. Like winning was one thing, but then having that sub 30 time, which was really like a lot, like it's a big gap between like back then what my best time was. There was such a big difference that was amazing.
Yeah, you looked really thrilled at the end of that. You looked like that was a good puzzle.
No, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, but like you have to imagine how this goes like in the room, because it's an event and people come and watch, right? You actually have to, well, for the teams, I don't know, I don't think you have to for the solo and pairs, but you have to like buy a ticket actually to watch, right? It's it's all thing. So, but the time was insane. So you have like, everyone's like, whoa. And the pairs competition was actually happening at the same time. So we were puzzling, right? And it was like, whoa, And we have predicted like what the top 3 will be. So we're like following along because they announced it, of course, right? And like, oh, Maartje finished,
and then actually the pairs puzzle was really, really hard. So that took like way like longer than an average 1000.
Yes,
I think
it was horrible.
So it was a bit of a mismatch in that regard. Pairs took really long because it was just a very hard puzzle, and then this puzzle was relatively easy.
Yeah, I think we had like one of our slowest times on the 1000 piece Jan van Haasteren ever, I
can
think.
imagine.
Yeah. But it was, and we were in second place but it was just a really tough one.
Yeah.
Was this the first competition where Inge, you and Ellen did a competition together in pairs? This is the first one I could find.
I think, I don't know about the online competitions, but at least it's the first in-person pairs we did, yeah.
So this is part of the transition of leaving your father behind, moving forward to
Yeah, well, so when they announced the individual and pairs categories for NK Legpuzzle, they announced it relatively short before finals. Like normally you have like we already had to register for the next year basically now. So it was a couple of weeks ago registration opened, and you have like, very short time to register. And then preliminaries are throughout the year. But then they just, like, only during the year, they decided we're going to do pairs and individuals. So they didn't have time or space to do the preliminaries and stuff. So they were like, okay, we're going to do one extra finals day, but there will be preliminaries before that, all on the same day. So they were like, okay, we need 3 preliminaries. But it made it very small compared to the other competitions. So it was very popular. And Ella and I were actually going to participate in pairs. That was our goal, but we didn't manage to subscribe because it was impossible. I'm not sure, but I think actually the registration was a bit weird, and you had to order it, but you had to like put it in your basket. But then it was like, oh, you're done, but you had to pay actually as well, which was very unclear. So I think Erik actually forgot to pay within the 20-minute window you had to pay. So we couldn't participate in pairs anymore. So I registered in individuals. I think we couldn't register in pairs anyway, and we both did individual, but Elle didn't. Because Erik didn't pay, Elle couldn't participate in individual. So then was just me, which was kind of... For me, it's pretty far away, actually. And I was like, I have to go here on my own. But we wanted to compete in pairs already 1 year before. And that's why the next year, when we had to choose again between individual pairs, we were like, now we're finally going to do pairs, right? Because we couldn't do it the year before. Even though Ella was like, are you sure you want to? Because, you're very good individually. And I was like, no, we were going to do this. And I want to go for it. But so yeah, it was kind of a shame that you couldn't compete in both. But it was also nice that they even tried to make it possible. Like, it was only... I think they decided only 2 months beforehand to even do it. And they still managed to get unpublished puzzles. And so they did a pretty good job. You have to choose. So now they just stop with individuals, so you don't have to choose anymore. Now all the good people.
No, because Maartje sort of closed that down. They were like,
yeah, I'm the one, and I'm the final winner. I'll always be the solo winner.
That's right.
I still can keep the cup. It's amazing.
Oh man, that cup is giant. What is up with that cup?
Oh no, that's the other cup.
Oh, okay.
They're
that's for the Dutch nationals. Yeah, that's amazing. That's huge.
I don't know, it's called Wisselbeker. I don't know if it has a term in English, but it's like you get it if you win, but then the next year it goes to the next winner. So, you get like your name on it and usually the year or something, and then it just travels to each year's winner.
I just saw a photo, I think, of Maartje holding onto this giant thing, and I was like, "Wow!"
That's this year's that's the cup from the Dutch national. So that's the Ravensburger event.
Got it. Yeah. Well, I wish all the Ravensburger events had a thing like that, because that's pretty awesome.
But you don't get to bring that one home, right?
Still,
yeah.
You have to.
I mean, I still have my parents because I couldn't bring it. Like, it was too big for the public transport to take it with me. So it's my parents are gonna bring it, I think, next week with a car.
I thought it was just to throw puzzle pieces on you, but apparently
no, you get it. You get it. You get to bring it home with you.
That's right, because they do fill it with puzzle pieces and then dump those pieces on top of you.
That was really fun. It was like unexpectedly fun to have that to experience that. Recommend.
So speaking of fun, I'm going to skip past a bunch of things. I want to talk a little bit about the World Series. I want to get your guys' perspective on the World Series. First of all, sort of overall on your kind of thoughts on that as an approach, 6 different kinds of puzzles, and maybe what your thoughts were going in. Did you do any sort of preparation? Sounds like we've already talked about a little bit. So Maartje, maybe tell us about your feelings with respect to that competition.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Also, like for starters, I think that's like probably a sentiment for all puzzlers. Like, doing more puzzles is nice. So I think everyone was just also excited to be able to do 6 puzzles. I think that's already a very like appealing way, because I mean, you're traveling all this way. It's nice to know that you're gonna be making all these puzzles. I think that's like a good start. And I was really, really interested in the like the way they structured it with different categories. Also because, I mean, we do, like, at least we do see that there are people that are really, really good at these Ravensburger puzzles. And also, at some point you feel like, okay, can I kind of keep up in that sense? And I knew that I think I'm relatively probably a bit more versatile in the brand, that it doesn't really matter for me which brand it actually is. So I think it was really interesting to see how all these different categories would pan out and how you would do. So I was really excited. And it was not so far away from the Netherlands, so that was a very practical thing. So I was really excited to go and do it. And it was amazing.
Inge, what about you?
So I really liked the concept and the idea. I think it was a first-time event, so I hope there were a couple of things I was like, that could go better, but I hope that will... Yeah. I assume it's first time, so I'm like, that's okay. It was your first time. It will probably be better next time. I would have liked more brand variety, but that's just like you can really tell like day one there are some people who did amazing on day one and then they just disappeared on day two because they know the piece cut, which is okay. It's a skill. I respect people who spend the time to do it, but for me it's like you're testing a different skill, right? And if you're saying I want to do 6 completely different puzzles, that's your concept, and different styles and try different things, then I think it should also be different brands, because otherwise you're still not really testing for an all-round puzzler. You're testing for a 50% Ravensburger puzzler and 50% all-round or something. I don't know. And for me, I think the images were relatively mild in their categories. Like, I think most people expected the gradient to be more gradienty and the busy puzzle to be more busy. And I think we had expected more extreme images within their category, if that makes sense. So not necessarily like impossible, but just so I think it was different than I expected. I still had a lot of fun, obviously, and it was a great change in like a great new concept in the puzzling scene, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it was a bit different than I expected.
In some senses, all of this, the entire hour plus that we've been talking leads up to this one question for me. Of the people who were going to have a perspective on the busy puzzle that was in this competition, I feel like the Dutch people are going to have the strongest perspective on this.
It was not busy.
So that
it was not busy.
Anyone can do this one. Like, you don't need to pick and place. The sections were pretty large, right?
Yeah.
It was, I think, as someone who's like the busy puzzle expert, right? This is where I was going to make my difference.
Yeah.
Then it should have been a busy or detailed puzzle, and it just wasn't. So at least that's my opinion. But I think also the busy puzzle haters were like, oh, but this I can do. So I think most people, all the Dutch people, everyone was like, this is not busy.
No, yeah, I was really like, I was so focused on okay, we're gonna have a busy puzzle, and like people were saying beforehand, like, oh, this is your round, you're gonna do this, and I was like, and I saw this puzzle, like I'm not gonna do this, like, but I was so focused on the way I wanted to approach it, to like how I normally do super busy puzzles, that I almost couldn't get a grip on it. And I think really with, for example, the Gibsons, the round Gibsons, it really catered way more to kind of that busy puzzle approach later, which I think it's maybe also why I did work like way better in that category. So yeah, it was a bit like people were saying before, like, this is gonna be your puzzle, and it's really hard to keep yourself motivated if people say that to you, and you're like, but I know this is not going to be that puzzle, like, when you see it.
I had to say,
it's hard.
I was sharing my table with Rachel Chambers, and she was like, we have completely opposite styles. So basically every round that I'm like, this is fun, Rachel's like, no, and the other way around. So when we got to the detailed round, she was like, yeah, you're going to do this, right? And I was like, yeah, and good luck to you as well. But, And then they opened the box. And then I was like, what's this? And Rachel was like, oh, I like this. I was like, yeah, I thought so. Because it's not busy. So, it's just, you could tell because, Rachel was really worried about the round and she was like, oh, this is fine. And I was like, well, it's a fine puzzle, but it doesn't really help me to make a difference, right? So
it was still a nice puzzle.
It was a great puzzle, but not
yeah.
if you're expecting a detailed one.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, detail is not my forte, and I saw that puzzle come out, and I'm like, I could do that one.
Exactly that.
It doesn't. No. It's not. It doesn't fit in the category, but the sections were too large.
Was there a puzzle in a different category that you were relieved wasn't as hard as you imagined it might be?
The second, maybe the
repeating one,
the repetition. I don't know. Like, the thing is also. The nice thing is with the repetition, it's often quite detailed. So it's a bit of, you get into that busy territory. So for example, I practiced the Hello Kitty Ravensburger circle puzzle, which is super, super detailed and repetition. And I thought that maybe it would go a bit more in that direction. And in this case, it was more of the repetition of the windows. So it was different, but I don't necessarily think it was. I think that one was maybe a bit easier than expected.
They've announced where the next One is it's slightly farther away for you guys.
Yes.
In that it is on an entirely different continent. Any plans to go?
So I'm not going, but that's also other factors. So
Yeah, I did actually think about it because I mean it was kind of big. I mean from the beginning, I think everyone knew it was probably not going to be in Europe, or at least if it was in Europe, in a very different place in Europe. So we had already some time to think about it, I think, in general, but I don't think I'm gonna go. Also because if I'm gonna go that far away, I want to have like a vacation kind of attached to it, and that's not gonna be possible. So yeah, that makes it a bit hard to go in that sense. So I probably also won't join.
Talking about things coming up for you guys, are you going to the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championship this year?
I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm also going. Also because it was for me also partially decided by the fact that I probably won't be going to the World Series, and then it's, I don't know, you want to, I really also do this because I really enjoy it, and then I like these international competition, and as much as people like have opinions about it, I think in the end I do enjoy going, and I do really want to puzzle at this international scene. So then at this point, yeah, the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships were the best option for me in that sense.
Who are you pairing and teaming with?
You want to go first?
It's an interesting topic because I actually asked Maartje already a year ago if she wanted to pair up.
It was a bit of
But in the end, we're not pairing up.
No, we're not pairing up.
I had so much invested in that all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, I was a bit of my fault. I had so like I really couldn't make a decision on if I wanted to go, or like if I wanted to go, if I should go, and so I just couldn't make a decision, and I just kept postponing it in that sense. But I basically only when it was announced that the World Series are going to be in Canada, I think I really made the decision to go. And I mean, very logically, at that point, Inge had decided to take matters in her own hands and find a very cool pairs partner.
Yeah, it was actually harder than I thought to find a pairs partner because Ella wasn't going to join this year. So I had to, find someone. And so with Maartje, it didn't really go, and a lot of people didn't really want to go. And then I got kind of demotivated, right? I was like, if it's this hard to find someone, then never mind, right? And I had asked Delia Keetman, who is also Dutch puzzler, very good. She actually joined in Worlds 2023 and finished in top 10. So she's actually also a very good Dutch puzzler. Then I was like, I'm not going to go anyway. And then at World Series, Delia came to me, so now I'm going to pair up. And Delia was really enthusiastic, and that really helped for me as well to feel like, see, it is fun to puzzle, right? I kind of got demotivated. So now I'm pairing up with Delia. We haven't had any practice time yet because of, other stuff, and I'm going on vacation. But then afterwards, we're going to practice. So we have not that much time to get used to each other. But
I was going to say, is she near you? Because you said one of the
she's not near me.
But you said earlier that one of the best ways of doing things was just to do it all the time. That was one of the advantages you and Ellen had.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's kind of hard. We're like on different sides of the country, so it's pretty. You have to invest. Our practice sessions are full days, right? Because if you have to travel, then you do a lot of puzzles. But it helps if you're fast because you can also do a lot of puzzles. So yeah, I'm pairing up with Delia, and then in teams, my boyfriend Jim is joining, and my dad Jan. So we're just a fun team, I guess, and
that's awesome.
Competitive pair, I hope.
Maartje, what about you?
Yeah, so I'm joining with my pair from last year, Martine Volk.
This is one of the people you've been dragging around?
No. She actually she found me, so that's amazing.
Awesome.
No, she approached me last year to become part of the team and become part of the pair. So funnily enough, like last year, I actually sent Ellen a message like, "Hey, are you looking for team members?" But then they already had Sien and Teun. So I was the one approaching them. But so Martina found me, and we've been we really enjoy being a pair. And she, I managed to drag her down to come to Worlds again with me. But then we were with the two of us. And actually, I'm going to do the first time as an international team. So I never really did that, always at Dutch people. But now I was asked by the mother of Alma Bell, like I don't remember the best last name, to join their team, because Alma Bell is joining with Christian, and now Martina and Meer are going to join them
Wait,
in
Christian.
an international team for Worlds.
Nigella?
Christian
Nigella?
Nitera, yes.
Oh my.
Exactly. Yeah, so we're going to have a very
What a fascinating team.
Very diverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, I'm very excited because I've never really done something like this, and it's also fun to puzzle with other people. So it's gonna be a roller coaster, and I think we're just gonna. I mean, of course, there's no puzzle time before going there.
Right.
I think. Right. So I mean, 3 different countries. It's not so easy. So hopefully we get some time to practice there before the competition starts, and otherwise it's gonna be. We'll see what's going to happen, but yeah, it's very exciting.
It helps that you're all fast, right? Then
Yeah, I mean, it's a good start, of course.
Right, but as we learned, and I think has come up a couple of times already on this conversation, is that it is not just being fast as part of a team. Like you said, Inge, earlier, it's a whole other skill.
yeah, definitely.
So it's not a
But
guarantee.
It helps.
It helps. Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's either one or the other is fine, you know. No, but yeah, they're different. I mean, if you can get more close to each other and in terms of being able to practice more, it's always nice, I think. But you can really surpass kind of your combined time you would have otherwise. But yeah, we'll see how fast we can come together.
Let's talk about the most recent Dutch Nationals. And I guess the first thing I want to understand is you guys have this historic competition that's been going on for years and years and years, but now this relatively new, as near as I can tell, a couple of years old thing called the Dutch National Competition. Are they just different major competitions? Because I feel like the NK Leg Puzzlen bills itself as a Dutch Nationals competition. So I was a little confused as to how to think about those things.
So I know the Speed Puzzling the Netherlands, right, which is the federation in the Netherlands. They were like, okay, we want to organize a Ravensburger competition, but there's already a Dutch championship, so we don't want to interfere with that. So that's why they called it Dutch Jigsaw Nationals. They were like, this is not the Dutch championship, right? We are another competition that's completely separate, and they really didn't want to step on anyone's toes, and you know, but I think the competitions are very different because, like I said, one is like with music and fun and Jan van Haasteren and teams, and the other one's like serious competitive jigsaw.
It was very
right?
quiet. I was watching the video of it. It's very quiet.
But it's also fun, but it's also serious.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it attracts different kind of people.
Yeah.
Or if you're like very enthusiastic puzzler like me or Maartje, you go to both, right? But in general, it's just 2 very different competitions, very different puzzles. Completely different competition. And Dutch Jigsaw National started last year, actually. So this was the second edition this year.
And it seems like it really gained steam this year. It feels like it was a bigger, sort of more involved competition this year. Does that seem right?
Yeah, also more internationals were there. I think it was last year. It was just I don't think there were hardly any internationals. I think except for some Belgian people.
Yeah, there were some, but not so
as
many.
much.
I
think this year I really felt like there's a lot of
people are getting, and there were some
people.
German, some German people that are coming.
Basically,
also.
it was only the neighboring countries,
everything around. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, you guys pulled in Victor Kaspacek, who goes to any competition he can get his hands on, and Nina Schicks from Germany also came along to provide some stiff competition for the Dutch.
Maya van Borstel, and Franziska
Weber, I think.
Yeah. So a lot of very fast international puzzlers, but luckily there's 2 different rankings. The Dutch national, so you have Dutch and international, and it doesn't matter what the Germans do.
That's right.
Exactly.
And the Germans quite the same about us, right? They were also like, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
No, indeed, yeah.
So the individual finals puzzle, Christmas themed, which was amusing for a middle of the summer sort of thing, but I guess surprising.
Definitely, yeah.
It was such a fun puzzle.
It was really nice.
So tell me about
Yeah.
this puzzle, because Maartje, slight spoilers, you did well on this puzzle. And you said that in the interview afterwards that everything made sense with this puzzle. So I'd love to hear both of your perspectives on this particular puzzle.
Yeah, I really liked it. Just to open it up, it was really nice color scheme, and I just started. I really did it. Also, I was able to do this the way I would normally puzzle. So sometimes I have to like get this competition puzzle, and I'm kind of puzzle like that. I had that the previous Dutch nationals. I didn't really know where to start, and then suddenly I choose to start with the edge. For example, I did that last year, and for this puzzle, I could just really do it the way I normally would do a puzzle, and I don't know, I was just able to really, I didn't have to stop puzzling in a sense, you know, I can always was able to put pieces in. So, that felt just super fast. So that was amazing. And I mean, the longer you were able to not hear the cheers for Victor, I think the better you start puzzling. So that does help with the high.
Same, I was like, Victor's not finished yet.
Yeah.
Inge, did this puzzle resonate with you as well?
Yeah, I loved it. I think I only had like in the beginning, I struggled a little bit because I sorted stuff, but then I didn't really put it in a logical place, and I kind of had trouble figuring out what I wanted to do. So it's just the beginning. So I felt like maybe I could have gone a little bit faster, but after that, I just like raced through it. At least so it felt like that for me. So it's also like there's not that much more room, right? For as it was for a first try puzzle, I was like, this is good. So while I was doing it, except for the beginning, I was like, this is going great. I was also very happy with my time and my placement because I think I beat Nina, I think, or I beat someone who I don't.
Maya, like everyone else. So you had Victor, me, Nina, you, and then
exactly.
the rest.
So I beat someone I don't usually beat. So
Yeah.
then I like
Somebody you could check off.
Yeah, and I mean, I wasn't gonna beat Maartje probably.
It was very close.
I think for both rounds they were actually very close.
Yes.
So honestly, I was thrilled with how it all went. And for me, I just really enjoyed the puzzle. I don't know why, but it was just like, it was fun. But it was kind of detailed. So it was a lot of different things happening. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a busy puzzle, but it's just a lot of smaller sections. So
everything was relatively small. I would say, it's not busier than the...
It was, I thought it was a great puzzle.
Something that was a little bit of a head scratcher to me that I would love to hear from you guys on is for pairs, the prelims both use the same puzzle.
That was crazy, yeah. You can only do that once, of course, then everyone will know. But
honestly, I just really enjoy the organization of the Dutch Jigsaw Nationals because, right, it's one of the national competitions that doesn't have unpublished puzzles. But they really go out of their way to make it as close to unpublished as possible.
That's a great point, yeah.
And I just really enjoyed it. And they were like, right, they had the Earth puzzle for the first round, and they were like, we want something similar for the second round, but there is nothing similar to that puzzle. So they were just like, let's do it again. We can only do it once, but let's do it. And honestly, I was doing the commentary for that round on the live stream, so it was like, it was so fun because some people were just really confused. But like, first thing when they opened the bag, right, and the organizer was like going, "This is not a mistake," because obviously otherwise people are going to be like, "Oh, I've got the wrong puzzle."
Right.
But it was. It was fun because there was a lot of speculation, of course, about what the puzzle would be for the second round, but I don't think anyone anticipated this. So it was...
No, I bet it blew a lot of minds. Yeah.
I think I was sitting like on the side and because I was in the first round, and I was looking, and the moment they opened it, I saw like, everyone has the wrong puzzle, and I was like, and the moment I said it, I was like, wait, that sounds like it's not that wouldn't be the case.
That's right. Not everybody has the wrong puzzle. Something else.
No, yeah. So like, oh, interesting. Yeah.
All right, and then I want to finish up on the teams because there were a couple of things about the teams finals that were new to me. One is that it was a 300-piece and a 1,000-piece panorama, which is an interesting combination. And then the 300-piece was just an insanely busy illustration of, I think it's 387 dogs and one cat is the name of the puzzle. I would love to hear sort of in general how you guys thought about 300 plus 1,000, but really specifically, how do you team a really busy 300-piece puzzle?
I think that most fun thing that I remember that that turned out to be all like the wrong way around, because we've been practicing these 300-piece puzzles and they were like super fast. And I think I remembered saying to my team, like the 300, it barely matters, right? Like, why do we even do this 300? Because like it's so fast, like that those times they're so small compared to this 1,000-piece puzzle.
10-second difference.
But now, yeah, exactly. But now, because they chose this kind of hard puzzle, actually in the end, my team kind of probably lost a spot because we're slower on the 300 puzzle. So it's really interesting to see that actually beforehand we think, oh, 300 is such a weird choice. And you really have to practice because it's kind of like space management wise is quite different. And how do you approach that with 4 people? But actually doing a really hard 300 with a team is quite of a different skill than doing a 1,000-piece puzzle. So in the end, it was kind of a fun decision, I think, to do a 300. Yeah.
Yeah, and the 300-piece puzzle, it was announced, right? So we did practice, and it took some time to figure out how to do it with 4 people.
Yeah.
Because that's not a lot of pieces you have to put together, and you're really in each other's way. We also did practice some of the smaller 300-piece puzzles.
Yeah, those were really hard.
Yeah. You have to figure out how to do it, right?
Yeah, because this was a larger piece size.
Yes, it was.
For
We figured it might be larger pieces because it's just really hard with 4 people to do such a small puzzle.
So it's like, I think even the size of a 1,000-piece puzzle.
Yeah,
so it's really
I think
big.
so. They were really big, and I think what was interesting is it was like a really busy puzzle, right? So my team was super happy because I've seen and Teun, and they're like insanely good at busy puzzles. It's a whole other level. But normally you look at the box and you pick and place, but the dogs on the box were so small that it was like the box was confusing. It didn't even really help, only for the like really large dogs, like the ones that were 4 pieces big. But other than that, every time I looked at the box, like, never mind. Let's not look at the box at all, because. But I thought it was actually it was a great puzzle. Only Ella didn't really like it because Ella is from the 4 of us the least into this kind of puzzle. So, but Ella was like, "You guys like it, right?" So then, and actually, see, then they were like, "Oh my god, this is like the best puzzle ever." So I think we just had a lot of fun. I also thought it was a great puzzle to do as a team. If you like busy puzzles, I can imagine that you can really hate it and really don't know how to approach it or what to do. But it was. I had a lot of fun with that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so actually the thing is with both of the puzzles for the team's final, I almost did both of them, but I didn't in the end. So I didn't make any of them, but the 1,000-piece I had at home and I brought it down for like team's practice, and I'm like, no, let's not do that one. So I brought it back up again. And on the 300-piece puzzle, my sister actually had it, and I was like, oh, we should borrow that to try that because it's really hard, and we should try a hard 300-piece puzzle. But in the end, I didn't borrow it, so I didn't make it. So like the moment I saw both of us, I was like, yeah. That could have gone very different if I'd done these.
We connected about that because actually the Earth puzzle was my prize for World Series. So I had that one at home, but I also never got around to do it before the Dutch Nationals. So we were like, we have the puzzle, but we haven't done them yet.
Exactly, yeah.
That 300 piece, to Maartje, your earlier point about it not seeming like it might be inconsequential in terms of time. Inge, that was the puzzle that actually launched you guys into first place. Because I don't know if you looked at the split times, but you guys did so well on the 300 piece puzzle that the second place team gained a lot of traction back on the panoramic puzzle, but you guys were so far out ahead on the 300 piece puzzle that they couldn't catch you. So it really was, for just a small, quick puzzle, it was really consequential.
It's nice that the puzzles were really different styles, so you can really tell that some teams, like my team, was very good at this kind of puzzle, and some other teams are just better at, like, I think the German team, right, that they had finished like seconds after us, are much better at like the landscapey kind of thing. So we knew we would suck at the panorama, or suck relatively. But it's like trying to indeed plow through it and make. But we didn't think we would finish in first place. We thought we would be the fastest Dutch team, but we didn't. We thought the Germans would beat us, actually. So we were thrilled.
Yeah, and it was by seconds.
I know. Yeah. It was so close. It was like a 10-second difference or something like that. So it was. I really enjoyed the teams puzzling, but I always like teams, and it's.
How'd you enjoy the palm trees of the panorama? Panorama had palm trees all the way across. That everybody
No
seemed
comments.
no comment. Everybody seemed so speedy until that section.
We shape sorted it, and there were like some kind of clues, but hardly. There were some like more blurry than others, but they were not fun.
I have a note here that previously I had said that there was a competition where Maartje, you just looked really happy when you were finished, and this one you looked exactly the opposite. You looked like this had taken
Yeah.
everything out of you. You were like, I am happy to
Yeah.
be done with this.
I think that was definitely a bit of the sentiment there after those palm trees.
I
Yes.
think that expectations for Maartje's team were also a bit higher than where they
Yeah.
ended up. So
Exactly, yeah. But I mean, that's how it goes. That's possible, and I think we were all. But indeed, we did expect a bit higher placement because if we looked at our practice times, we were sometimes very close to Inge's team. So, but that's how it goes. Yeah, and we still enjoyed it. Like during the puzzling, I mean, we did like to puzzle as a team, so that's still like one of the important parts is to have fun. But in the end, yes, I was also ready to be done with those palm trees.
I also think you have some people on your team who are not used to competitions yet. And Sina and Teun have like an insane competition boost. They just I also get faster in a competition, but I don't know what they do, but they're just like on fire in a competition. And that really helps. So I think that also is maybe why we are in practice times we are closer together, and then in the competition
That
it
could
shifts
be,
more.
yeah.
I have a question about CNN too. I was really happy to see you guys get back together for the O's and Ahs again at the Nationals. And I need an update on their opinion about Ravensburger puzzles.
I think it hasn't really changed. So they just really enjoy Jan van Haastre, and it's their favorite type of puzzle. I think they tolerate the other puzzles more now. Like in the beginning, they were just like very resistant. So we were like, how can you be so incredibly fast in Jan van Haastre and then be so slow on other puzzles, right? So it took some time, but I think it has grown on them. And I think, well, like one of my favorite moments actually from the Dutch Nationals was when we finished in pairs and they finished like right after us, because I think that was unexpected to them as well. And it's just such a camaraderie, and it's like, yeah, we're just all super happy for each other. So I think they do like some non-Jan van Haastre puzzles nowadays, but I don't think their opinion will ever change.
Will we see you teaming together in the future?
I don't think so. So we asked them for Worlds this year, but they also didn't really want to go. Also, yeah, they are still studying, and then sometimes it's a bit hard to arrange this kind of thing. So I don't know. Maybe we will. I don't know. We have to defend our title maybe next year, but yeah, we don't have any plans yet. Actually, we participated in the Jigsaw Jam Teams Marathon mini one that's like due in August, but we did it last week. So you'll be seeing our times on the ranking. So we did compete together, though it's not an in-person competition. So
there are two delightful things that I enjoyed that we haven't talked about the Dutch national competition. One was that it looked like when you finish the competition, they give you little plastic bags to put your pieces in.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I was like, oh, that is so cool.
And like I said, I have only positive words for this organization, because I think, like, for a puzzle competition, everyone needs to have the same table, the same light, and good timekeeping. That's like my 3 essentials for a puzzle competition. And it very often isn't the case.
Yeah.
And here it's great. And they give you the bags to put your puzzle pieces in at the end. They have sponsors, so you get like drinks and cheese. And
that was the other thing I was going to say, is you get bags and cheese.
Yeah.
A lot of cheese.
And like they incorporate it in such a fun way that it's like you like the sponsors, and they had like they did a friendly competition this year. So you could do a 300-piece puzzle. You had an hour and 15 minutes, but for the last 15 minutes, someone could help you. So it's for the non-speed puzzling family. It's for the kids, so that they could also do puzzles. And they had like a sponsor. It was like Fristy, which is like a yogurt drink. And you got two.
Like packs
Yeah,
of
I don't know
Fristy,
what
yeah.
it's called. Like
Cartons.
Yeah, 2 cartons of Fristy, and there's like one was for you and one was for the friend that came to help you. And it's just, and you
So
had
well
like a
thought
badge
out.
that said you were a Fristy friend, and it's just, if you incorporate it in such a way, right? Everyone just likes that they're sponsors,
Yeah.
and you can only be happy about it. And I have no negative comments about the organization of this event. I think it's one of the best organized puzzle competitions I've been to.
Is Daphne involved in that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Past Peace Talks guest Daphne?
I
Minica?
think Mineke Boot,
Also,
and then Daniela,
Mm-hmm.
Berensen, I think.
and then some other board members as well, right? So Jesse,
Martina.
Martina, yeah. So I think the board is like 6
yeah.
people or some, more or less. Karen Harmse as well. So it's like 6 people, but it's great. And some stuff happens in the background. Like last year, they put the puzzles in the room with the showers, and then always got turned
Someone
on.
turned on the showers.
Yeah, because there were like sensor showers, right? So you can easily, I don't know.
Trigger 'em,
So
yeah.
you hear
That's
some
a fun story.
stories from stuff that happened in the background. So I would recommend you talk to Mineke if you want all the juicy details. But I think they do such a great job.
On that note, I'm going to transition us over to the speed round. The speed round is where I will just ask a quick question. I'm looking for just a quick answer. And for each one of those things, let's just do Inge first and then Maartje second.
Okay, no pressure.
There's a huge amount of pressure. This is the most pressure-filled thing that I do the entire interview. So if you haven't been preparing for this,
Exciting.
then it's going to look
Shit.
terrible. Gradients, patterns, or fur? Inge.
Patterns?
You're the tiger girl.
Yeah.
You're the tiger girl. Patterns, yes.
Illustration or photo?
Illustration.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you go first. Illustration.
This seems like a no-brainer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Busy or landscape?
Busy.
Busy.
Round or square?
Round.
Oh.
That one was easy.
Square.
Square, round. All right. Wood or cardboard?
For speed puzzling or regular puzzling?
Just in general.
Cardboard.
Cardboards.
But I really like wooden puzzles to do casually. But they're not for speed.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of wood speed competitions. So individuals, pairs, or teams?
Teams.
Individuals.
Ribbon cut or random cut?
Random.
Random, I think.
300, 500, or 1,000?
1,000?
500.
Do you have a current favorite brand?
Oh.
No.
Everybody looks around.
I can say, oh yeah, I guess.
I don't.
Happily, I think.
Happily.
I don't have a lot. But I
They're
think it's
busy.
really, they're all their puzzles are really, really fun.
Do you have a favorite puzzle?
No, I have some that I really like. I don't know if I have a favorite, but I have like Mud Puppies Happy Plants is like one of my favorites, I think. Oh, and I had a new one with Oltifante, a Ravensburger one, which is also very colorful and happy. I like it when there's happy things on my puzzle that smile at me while I'm puzzling.
Nice. I decided I think a month ago, my favorite puzzle, it's called File or Traffic Jam from Jan van Haasteren. It's a 500-piece puzzle. And it's my favorite because it's just like to make it, it's amazing. It's like a bit of busy, but also a lot of color blocks. And I used to make it a lot as a child, so that's the nostalgia factor.
Where can people get more of you?
Instagram. I'm not very active, but I do really like it if people talk to me. I'm not very, social in the way that I usually approach people, but I really enjoy talking to people. So please know that I'm actually a fun person. And even though I don't always initiate, I enjoy talking. And then at all the Dutch events, I'm usually there
What's your Instagram handle?
at puzzle__Inge. Like it's puzzling, but then there's underscores in between.
Oh,
It took me so long to figure it out that you had those puns. It was really nice.
I hadn't figured that out yet.
And it's the same because in Dutch, puzzling is puzzelen. So she also has like the word. Well, our names were made for this.
You were made for this.
That's right. Maartje, what about you?
Also on Instagram, I think it's. I just looked it up. It's Maartje_puzzling. I also always like it if people reach out. It's really fun to have some stories with people. And yeah, I think I guess Worlds and most of the Dutch competitions indeed.
EB, what about you?
Oh, I'm on Instagram at Puzzle Free or Die.
Oh, sorry. I never.
No.
I always like free or
Yeah,
die.
same.
Like I never understood that it is free or die. Wow. Okay.
It's
world has
okay.
opened.
It's like my home state. It's our state motto is live free or die. So it's a little New
Oh.
Hampshire. That was my family
Nice.
puzzle team name back when I puzzled with my family. Yeah.
Well, Inge, Maartje, and obviously EB, thank you so much for joining Peace Talks. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for having me join, Rob.
Thanks for listening to Peace Talks. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at peace_talks, and you can send email to peacetalkscast@gmail.com.